I'm going to teach you the ins and outs of how professions work in Dragonflight. So they got reworked like crazy. They're totally different now. Been playing with these for a few days, and I feel ready to go ahead and give you the basics of how all this stuff goes. So, like before, there's the same professions as before. There's jewel crafting, tailoring, there's inscription, there's blacksmithing, there's mining and stuff. And the gathering's obviously a little bit different than the crafting. So, first off, you'll get them from just normal vendors at the main city of Valdrakken. So just go fly here as soon as you get your dragon and get your professions. There's some scattered throughout different towns here and there, or you just go to Valdrakken and ask a guard and go find your profession guy real fast, learn what you want. Once you learn your profession, it'll look something like this, and we'll have recipes, specializations, and crafting orders, which you won't be able to access this unless you're either at the crafting order station or at a crafting station for your specific craft that you're doing. We'll get to a little bit later in this video. And really quick, I want to throw this part in about the gathering professions, because I forgot to put it later in the video, is pretty simple stuff. You just mine stuff, you skin stuff, whatever. You level it up. You get knowledge points from that. You also find them randomly in the world and stuff. And then you unlock different specializations, just like what you'll see with the crafting ones that I'm about to talk through here. It's much simpler than the crafting ones. But so, recipes. It's complicated. It depends on the profession. But generally, you'll have, for a lot of these professions, you'll have some kind of refining type thing up here, or some type of, like tailoring has the ability to weave different threads into bolts, and there's salvaging tattered wilder cloth into spools of wilder cloth, stuff like that. If your profession has any of that, they're usually up there. And then you'll obviously you're gonna unlock different recipes. Some require to use a bench, some don't. They'll use different ingredients depending on what profession it is. Those ingredients either come from somewhere in the world, as a case as these elemental, ingredients, or they may come from some other thing, like the fractured glass might come from another part in, your crafting recipes and stuff. Specifically, the fractured glass would come from prospecting, and then prospecting things, you sometimes get fractured glass. But, so yeah, and then as you craft, it's like before, you level up your Dragon Isles jewel crafting. And then once you hit 25 in jewel crafting, tailoring, blacksmithing, whatever, it'll let you unlock a specialization suddenly. And that's where things get really complicated. But real fast before we get to that, you'll go to your trainer to keep getting recipes, but the trainers never have recipes above level 50. If you're lucky, depending on the profession, you may be able to go higher than level 50, a lot higher than level 50 with like the last recipes they give. Like jewel crafting can go all the way potentially to 80 before you need to get some crazy recipes to go the last bit. So yeah, that's how to level that. All right, so specializations, gear to the right, crafting orders. Let's get through each one of these. So specializations are the new system. Every 25 levels, you can get one of these. So when you first hit, say, again, we'll use jewel crafting as the example. When you hit jewel crafting 25, you'll be able to pick any one of these tabs that you want. And then once you click one and you unlock it, which I can't show you right on this one because I've already unlocked all I can, but you'll be able to unlock one. Then you'll be able to start putting in knowledge points, which we'll get to knowledge points in a second as well. And then once you have that, if you're at 25, you won't be able to grab another one until you hit 50. Then you'll let you unlock another one. And each one of these will give different bonuses. Like, for example, in the jewel crafting one, and a lot of these ones have this because I think tailoring has the same one. Yeah, the first one for a lot of these is just mastery. And what this will do is, you unlock it. It'll say when, on learning the specialization, you'll get +3 skill in crafting tailoring goods. And then every point that I pump into tailoring mastery, I'll gain another skill point in my crafts, which we'll also get to in a second, because when you're crafting some of this stuff, you got skill level and all this stuff, which I'll teach you in just a second. Anyway, so then the sub-specializations, most of them are going to be 10 and then more after that. So like a more complicated one would be garment crafting. So in order to get this one of these next ones, I would need 5 points in the previous sub-specialization. So I'd have to unlock garment crafting. I'd have to pump 5 points into it to unlock this node right here, which is to learn a sub-specialization. Then I can get embellishments or outfits or outerwear. Then I'd have to put 10 more points in it to unlock this tab for another sub. Then I could get one of the other ones. And then I could go all the way to here, another 10. We'll get another sub-specialization. Then I could have all 3. Generally, you're not going to do it in that order, though. You're going to get the first one. You're going to pick whatever you want. And then the ones below it will have their own, which would be, in this case, 10 points in embellishment. So I need 5 garment crafting. Then I get embellishments. Then I put 10 points into embellishments. And then I'm able to unlock belts or armbands or mantles or something like that. And say I want belts. Well, then I'm going to have to put in 10 points into belts. And then I'll be able to learn to craft the illustrious insight finish. I put, you know, actually, come to think, just the first one, I'll unlock vibrant wildercloth girdle. And then the last one, I'll learn how to craft using the illustrious insight finishing reagent, or, you know, whatever, the different things like that. So that's how that's going to work for any of those. Example here, I put in, I think it was 5, got weaving, didn't know what I was doing, honestly. Which I regret my choices here, but put in 10 more, got another sub-specialization, got spinning. And then I'd have to go all the way to 25 points in textiles, and then I could unlock embroidery. And then each of those put more points in. All these use knowledge points, which I guess we'll get straight to knowledge points now, and then we're going to talk about the different crafting difficulties and all this. So it's just one step at a time. You're one step at a time. All right, so this knowledge point system. I'm going to make a whole video on this in the future, since it's a much broader topic. It needs its whole own video on how to farm all these. But to get you started, there's a few different ways to get the basics and then ways to get more. So the basics will be the first time you ever craft a recipe, it will have this. Well, it's not going to show it because I haven't unlearned. But there'll be a message right here that'll say first craft. And you can actually filter for first craft bonus. But I've already done all my first craft bonuses personally for all the things I have unlocked. But when you unlock something new, say I just now got blue silken lining, I can craft it one time. And that first time, it'll give me a bonus. And that bonus will be some stuff, but then also a knowledge point. So you go through and you get one set of knowledge points for crafting every single thing that you unlock. As you unlock things, you craft them one time, you get a knowledge point. And that'll get you, like, however many, in this case, like 20-something, however many recipes I have here. That's a quick, like, jump start to knowledge points. The next big thing that you'll get for knowledge points is exploring the world. And based on your profession, you'll be able to find different ones. For example, jewel crafting has one. I don't remember where exactly, but somewhere over by Tier Hold, there's just like this red gem thing on like a rock somewhere, and it'll pop up on your map just like the Expedition Scout packs, but it'll have a different. It'll look the same, but you mouse over it on the minimap, and it'll tell you it's like the Alexstrasite jewel deposit or something, whatever it was called. And you go there, and you'll get like a big one. It gives like get you an item that'll give like +3 of something. So like, I mean, I don't know if I can. Yeah, like I get these ones that give 1, but there's also you get items like this, but they'll give 3. You'll also get items like this that give 1. But the ones with 3, there's a limited number. If you're a jewel crafter, you can go there. You'll see the jewel crafting one. You can get it. Anyone else goes there, there's just nothing there unless they have jewel crafting as their profession. And then there's other ones you can find where it just gives 1. And that's the same kind of thing. It's exploring and finding different items on the mini-map and then going and finding out what they are. And then also, you'll sometimes just find them from certain enemies. Like, for example, when I was doing the main story quest and I was in this lava zone over in the Azure Span, I killed a few enemies, and it was like, oh, wow, I already used it, but it was an item like this, like one of those ones that gives 1 to my, I think it was tailoring. And I'm pretty sure those are not dailies, and those are one-time things, but I'm going to make a full video on knowledge at some point, and in that one, I'll try to be more precise about it, but you can sometimes get those like that. There's also the Dragon Crystal Shards of Knowledge or something like that. There's a quest for one of those. Right here in town, actually, just so I can show you what I mean. If I go over to here, there's this guy down here, and maybe not this guy. This guy is a quest, and he'll give a Dragon Shard of Knowledge, which then, if you do his quest and you get that, that'll eventually lead to be able to get knowledge for your chosen profession, give you some more knowledge points, so like a one-time shot. And then if you go over to this person, if you get rep with the Artisan Consortium, which I'll cover that in another video as well, you'll be able to spend Artisan's Medal to get 3 separate one-time boosts to whatever profession. So if I can get this one, this one, this one for a total of 30 tailoring knowledge. But again, you'll need rep with the Artisan Consortium and Artisan's Medal. I'll cover all that in another video. I'm just giving you the quick summary real fast. And then there are some other ways that I can't remember offhand. I'd have to go research. But yeah, so those are like the core ways to get you started. And then just stay tuned for my other video that I'm going to have about farming the knowledge. And then, yeah, then that's knowledge. That's the general idea of how you get knowledge. So then, knowledge, that's out of the way. All right, check. Now you know knowledge, roughly, how that's going to work. You know how this stuff works. So now we got 2 last things to touch on. There's gear, and then there's crafting, recipes, difficulty, and all this stuff. So real quick, the gear will be fast and simple. So let's do the gear first. So, crafting gear. All right, this stuff is usually crafted by a different profession, sometimes your own profession. And it will give you bonuses to these different stats. And you can actually control those bonuses because for some of the items, will have... Oh my god, if I can get in there. Some of those items will have random rolls on it. So, for example, if I go to Profession Equipment, blacksmithing, for example. When you mouse over some of these, there's the, here we go, the Draconian Blacksmith's Hammer, and you'll see random stat plus 79, and it gives 6 blacksmithing skills. So you go in here, and you'll just mouse over each one, and you'll see it gives, you know, resourcefulness, inspiration, multicraft, whatever, and you'll pick the one that you want to buy, whatever you can afford, or whatever you want for whatever stat. Like, in my case, I literally have all 3 of the spring-loaded Draconian fabric cutters. I have all 3 of the lapidary Draconian clamps, or whatever, you know, so it's like, whichever way you want to do it. I guess there's 4, so I don't have all 4 for the one, but I have 4 of the other. Anyway, so then, when you have this open, you'll just open up your bags, ideally the bag that has what you need, and then you'll just drag and drop it over in order to swap it out with whatever you need. And so that's how you get all that stuff on. That'll be nice. Just gives you bonuses so that you just save more materials or whatever. So now that's how that works. Like I said, most of them are crafted by other professions. Some are found from vendors and things. And that's that. Now, the last thing we need to touch on, which is this crafting difficulty, skill, inspiration, all this stuff. What does it mean? Okay, so the new crafting system in Dragonflight, there's bronze, silver, and then there's also, if I can find one that has it, I guess I can't find one. Here we go. If I get that, yeah, gold. And then also some things go all the way to platinum, and then whatever the orange one's supposed to represent, mythic or something, I guess. Like I don't know what to call it. So yeah, like a lot of the reagents will only go bronze, silver, gold, and a lot of the equipment will go all the way to the 5th tier, which is this looking gem, whatever this thing is supposed to be. And that determines the quality of the stuff. So it's generally like a system that builds on itself. So like you'll use higher level things in order to make other higher level, like, you know, reagents, and then you'll use the highest level reagents that you can when crafting the actual gear to try to get the quality as high as possible for whatever gear you're getting, and then that's how you get the gear. But so then there's other things to look at. So skill, for example, and there's inspiration and all this. So if I'm crafting this, for example, if I mouse over this, I need skill 150 to guarantee a silver every single time. And my skill's only 138, which is based on my tailoring level. It's also based on, you know, specializations, relevant ones. Tailoring mastery gives points to all, whereas textile, it gives +1 skill point per textile, or this one gives +1 skill point for specifically Azure Weaving Chrono Cloth recipes and things. So yeah, you'll level up a skill like that, and also something like this adds skill. This one tool does. And then if your skill's still not high enough, then you'll have to boost it with specialization knowledge. And if it's still not high enough, it's still possible to get it through what's called inspiration. So inspiration, in this case, my inspiration with tailoring right this second is where it's high enough to where I have about a 10% chance to add 100 bonus skill in this case. So 1 out of 10 on average, it will craft it as if I had 238 skill, which will be enough to bring it to silver. Although I don't think that's enough to bring it to gold, so I can't really check unless I go into gold. But yeah, so then you randomly get those based on inspiration. So some items you basically can't craft the highest level without just luck. You gotta put on all the gear you can. Instead of multi-craft, I'd put on spring-loaded Draconian fabric cutters that give inspiration, get to like 15%, and then like 1 out of 7 or whatever it is will actually be the tier that I want them to be, and the rest will be the next tier down because I don't have enough skill, or it's impossible to get enough skill to do something or whatever. Resourcefulness, same thing. You get it from these different stats. You can also get it from random specializations that will give resourcefulness for relevant crafts. But resourcefulness is pretty simple. It just has a chance to make you use less ingredients. So if I'm doing this, I may just randomly not use my awakened ire, or use 2 wilder cloth instead of 3, something like that. So it just saves you money, basically. Crafting speed, straightforward. Upgrade crafting speed. You literally just craft faster, which is only really relevant when doing something like trying to make money from the tattered wilder cloth money farm that I told you guys about in a different video. Just do it faster. And then the last thing is going to be multi-craft, which is exactly what it sounds like. And this one's only on, you know, some recipes, but chance that you'll get 2 items or even 3 items instead of 1. And not all recipes have all these. So like unraveling literally only has inspiration and crafting speed. Some of these have, you know, all of them. And then some of them don't have multi-craft, but they have inspiration and resourcefulness. So, you know, you gotta mix and match what you're doing. When I'm crafting, I'm literally swapping out my spring-loaded Draconian fabric cutters depending on what I'm making. Okay. And then there's the reagents, and And there's also, I really quick should mention the workstations, and then I guess crafting orders, and then we're done here, guys. All right, so workstations, pretty straightforward. It's also where crafting orders go, though. So say tailoring, for example. It's going to be over in the tailoring section. There's going to be this station, and that's where some of these recipes, I need the tailor's workstation. Some of these need special stuff, like, for example, chronocloth bolts or azure weave bolts for the tailoring profession need the azure loom. It says, which can be found in the azure span. And that specifically, I have a video on that exact location description of this video, but the TLDR is it's at the Azure Archives in a tent, kind of next to the Lightmaster icon. So you could go there for some special cases, but most cases you can just do it at this place. Then crafting orders and the other thing. So before crafting orders, let me just go over this last thing here, which is these matrices and customizing stats and finishing reagents and stuff. So in order to use these, you have to, depending on what it is, I think these ones you can just use them if you have the Titan training matrix. But for some of these other ones, which I can't really show you right now on this one, but yeah, it'll tell you what you need. So like the hood, in order to use this optional reagent slot, I would need the specialization garment crafting outerwear. Okay, garment crafting, and you look for outerwear. So I need this, and just by getting this, then I can use optional reagents, which will let me do things like controlling secondary stats, so that instead of it being random stat 1 and 2, I can guarantee haste or something like that. And then the other one would be random, I guess. And then the other thing is finishing reagents, which you can use in order to increase the difficulty, but then increase skill gains or put an embellishment on, which is kind of like an enchanting buff or something like that. And same kind of thing, like in order to put finishing reagent on this set of pants, I would need garment crafting outfits 40. So I'd have to go to specialization, garment crafting, and then I'd have to find outfits. So I'd have to put, what is it, 5? Yeah, 5 points into garment crafting, and then 40 points into outfits. So 45 knowledge points total just to be able to do the specific thing. So that is the TLDR version, I guess, of how all that works with these things. And then, yeah, so, and eventually you can get all the knowledge points eventually, but it'll just take a hell of a long time because the initial ones go fast, then it turns into like bi-weekly quests or something like that. And then it just turns into like getting like just a few knowledge points a week. And so it'll literally take like a year for you to get all this unlocked, or more even, maybe, if you're diligent, you know, unless they add more systems, which maybe they will. So yeah, now crafting orders. Let's do crafting orders. So you're at a table. If you're at your relevant table, you can look at crafting orders, press search, and it'll show all the crafting orders. Or if you want to look at one specific one, you can. I usually don't, though, because I don't even know how to not select one now. But yeah, so I usually don't, because at least when I was doing this, there's not even that many orders to pick from usually. And most of these will be things that you like almost can't even make, or they'll want something that, you know, you can't use yet or something like that. So it's rare that you'll be able to make these necessarily, unless you're super specialized in one thing and you're just like, all right, garment crafting, I'm going to be making belts. I am maxed out on belts. I'm maxed out on embellishments. You know, like, unless you're someone like that, you're not going to be able to fill most of these. Most ones, I mean, some of these do pop up. If you check often, you may see one that's simple, but the ones that just hang around for days at a time are the ones that nobody can craft, basically. So, but you can check. You can do 20 public orders. I don't know if it's per day or week. I assume day. So if I fill one of these random ones, it'll fill, you know, it'll use up one of my public order slots. But people can also request a personal one from you, and then it'll go straight to you, and then you can fill it, and it won't use up your public orders. So really quick, on the other end of this, if I want to place orders, we're going to head over to this, which is right here on the map in WoW Dragon. And there is this stuff right here. There's these 3 guys, and you talk to them, and you can request pretty much anything in the game that you wouldn't be able to craft yourself, even bind on pickup stuff. So I can go to cloth armor, search, and I can say, I want this insane thing that I can't even get. I'll have to provide the reagents, but then I can make it. Or I can do a personal order, which is what I talked about earlier, where I still need certain reagents, like the bind on pickup ones, but then if I want, I can just trust the crafter to use his own things for this. And then in return, instead, I could be like commission 5,000 gold or something crazy, right? Or whatever I think is fair for that. Or if you want to go that route, most people probably just do public orders. There's also a guild order thing, I think, but I don't have it because I'm not in a guild on this character right now. But then it'll be only people in your guild can see the orders. And then again, personal order to go to a specific person. And then minimum quality and all this stuff. There's different settings you can pick. And then you can also pick these different things if you have them available. And add the embellishment, which could add recipe difficulty. It makes it harder for them to do it. Makes it harder for them to get the minimum quality or whatever, something like that. And then, yeah, that's the basics of crafting orders in general. But you can do this for tons of different things, like item enhancements, this setting. You can consumables, illusion primal frost, whatever, trade goods, certain trade goods. So I mean, if you want anything made that you can't make yourself, just go in here and place an order for it, and preferably something that someone can actually make for you. And then public order, put in the mats, place your order, put a small commission, whatever, bam, get your item. And then there's one last feature I guess I really should mention that I didn't think to mention. I should have mentioned earlier, I guess. There's recrafting, and this will let you just take a piece that's like say level 2, and then craft it up to level 3, or attempt to craft it up to level 3, and then do the same 3 to 4 or 4 to 5. And you can also recraft in the crafting order. Start recrafting order, put in my thing, whatever it is. I think everything I have is like 5-star though, so I don't have any good examples. But yeah, you can put in something like this and say, I want it crafted up to 5-star, give my mats, and then hope that somebody does it. Now, if you do public order, you can do this in personal order, but if you do public orders for something like this, for example, you have no control over what the guy's skill is. So you may just get a bronze, you may get a 5-star. It is totally up to the crafter. So it's, use at your own risk for public orders. But just know that you can recraft later. It's not the end of the world. It can be recrafted if you used like your super rare once a week item or whatever it ends up being, which would be like the Spark of Ingenuity. Those are gonna be really hard to get. They're time gated at first, and then hard to farm after. So consider all those things. Okay, guys, I think that's everything. I think I said it all. I hope I didn't forget anything. If you do, just ask me, and I'll try to answer. But yeah, that's the basics of professions. This has been my overarching professions guide of how it works. I'll go into details for other things in other videos, like, knowledge farming guides, or what are the best professions, or money making guides. I'll cover that in later videos, because this video, I don't know how long it is at this point, probably like 20 minutes or something, because professions are complicated, have a ton of stuff to them now. But hopefully this helped you out, and now you have a better idea of how professions work in World of Warcraft Dragonflight.